the Dr. Mario disappeared for a second. I was like, hold on. I was like, where is he going? So yeah, game number 1 gonna be starting off on Pokemon Stadium 2. Cobra, honestly, can kind of get away with a upbeat like that. Look how slow Dr. Mario is. He was not, Mabel, they were not able to get there in time, by the time like Cobra landed instead of shielding.
There's going to be a lot of opportunities that rise up like that. However, where Mabel's going to find the most of their game is the counter hits. Whenever Cobra thinks they could swing or they just barely miss the mark, it's going to be big reads too. We saw the jab on hit lead into nothing, try to read a roll out. It's gutsy play like that that's going to bring Mabel miles ahead in this set.
Well, Mabel going to be missing that tech on the platform. Now Cobra is setting up that juggle, going to be already putting on a good amount of percent onto the board. They're both just looking for that one big hit. Cobra putting Mabel into the corner. That's where they want to be. If Mabel gets this next hit, this could be the kill. And that's down throw up B. Going to be able to close that out.
A fairly reliable confirm for a kill and something that Mabel's going to have to leverage pretty heavily throughout this set. Because I feel like finding the just a straight hit is much easier said than done. Whether it's from the sheer danger of the moves that Pyra offers or the sheer speed. And talk about danger, just like that. Down air from Pyra is going to bring us to even.
That's Pyra edge guarding, and that's Dr. Mario off stage. And what do you get when you combine those two? A dead Doctor, because that's tough. That's just genuinely tough, and you have to hold that. Dr. Mario doesn't really have the buttons to be able to compete with a lot of Pyra and Mythra's disjoints off stage. And you're just kind of occupying that space where they can back air, they can down air for free. It's really going to be the biggest challenge for Mabel.
Finding their marks for the hits is proving to be much easier expected. Mega Vitamins and back airs plenty, leading up the damage in Mabel's favor. And I'm actually quite surprised with how easily they're navigating the field.
Yeah, Mabel is just so efficient with the movement and just has a really good understanding of like the spacing that they cover and the spacing that they're able to thread it. So they're never really going to be overextending and putting themselves into unnecessarily dangerous positions. Right now, Mabel playing so patiently using Mega Vitamin. Honestly, I really like that. Mabel has a bit of a lead for themselves. There is no incentive for them to approach right now. And if they do happen to land a pill, hey, free damage.
Yeah, but using Mega Vitamin as your advancing option, I think is really smart too, because it's forcing Cobra to back off more and more. And we're seeing a lot of that. Cobra's forced to fight out of the corner. Not a typical situation for the Aegis, but proving to be a difficult one nonetheless as Mabel finds their mark once again.
Mabel not going to be able to find that with Punish quite yet. That move is deceptively quick, has so little end lag on it sometimes. And I'm able, are they going to be able to get back onto the stage? Mixes up their timing. That down B was not necessary for Mabel to get back onto the stage as they still had the double jump. But it was just able to throw off Cobra's timing just a little bit in case they went for the 2-frame or an edge guarded attempt.
Now the honest was on Cobra to try and make something happen here. Up tilt's going to be the option, and a very good one at that while you have Doc jumping all over you. Finding an anti-air, not going to be that difficult, but with 59% on board, this is a position we've seen Mabel threaten kill with, regardless of it being kind of early, so I'd be careful if I were Cobra.
50%? I've seen Mabel kill at 20. You ever see Doc down B off stage? You're just dead. That move's like knockback scaling is really funny because it starts killing you from 20 and then kind of lags and stalls out a little bit. But now Mabel controlling the stage so well, Cobra able to fight the way back on with the get up attack. And
oh no!
Wow.
The pressure of the situation leading into just an easy roll read for Mabel. Very convincing looking game one.
Honestly, at the end of the day, it just goes back to this point. No matter who the player is, it could be a top player, it could be a high-level player. More often than not, out of the corner, it's going to be A, jump, B, a roll in. And if you're able to scout one of those out, that's a big punish imminent. So really good stuff to Mabel being able to recognize Cobra's tendency to roll in from the corner. They're going to have to be a little bit more patient, but it's disadvantage. Sometimes you just guess wrong.
Ooh. Mabel set us up for a very interesting game, too, with the stage bans. Getting rid of Town and City and Battlefield is going to lock out a lot of space that's easy for the Aegis to navigate. But bringing us to Yoshi's story shows Cobra doubling down on the kill power capable from Pyra and the combo potential from Mythra. With that being said, though, You're trying to bring Doc to a stage where Doc can just annihilate you at early percentages?
That's bold.
Okay.
Cobra is going to be playing with Pyra, especially with Pyra in this choice. So yeah, with this kind of a stage, as soon as Mabel's able to get like a good like forward throw off, because of also the flat sides, on a stage like Yoshi's, you're able to track a recovery. Like, never mind, it's Mario and Yoshi's.
Hey, at least you were right on the character pick, right?
Yeah, it's Mario and Yoshi's, baby. It's gamer time. So you know, don't get hit, or else you might die at like, I don't know, 30 and onwards.
Yeah, no, this stage is incredibly goofy for Mario. It's so easy to find strings off the platforms, so easy to find early kills, and rack up very free damage. This was an excellent position for Cobra to find himself in, but as I was alluding to reading into game 2, like, Mabel's gonna have plenty of a fun time themselves here because all that kill power and plenty of ways to bring ourselves upwards, it's just as threatening, so Cobra's gonna have to be careful in spite of it being the best of situations.
Anybody that you know, like, plays Mario, but, like, maybe they decide to go to the secondary to the pocket for game 1 is so scary, because if for a second you forget to strike Yoshi's story, you could just find yourself imploding.
Mario and Yoshi's story is a combination that has never once been picked with pleasant intentions. Cobra chose violence.
Yeah, Cobra chose violence with this one. Is going to be able to find that pivot grab into the backfield. Really clean movement. Mabel tries to go for the lead on to the high recovery with the double jump, but Cobra opted to go for the low that time.
The positioning of Mega Vitamin is so pivotal here, but that second one actually saving Cobra. I feel like Mabel would have been better off just sort of letting it rock, but nonetheless, they're in that point where they're starting to threaten kill. They have to be careful tangoing on the flats, though, otherwise Cobra could start to threaten.
Tomahawk was beautiful because Mabel by that point had already conditioned Cobra to think, hey, this is going to be a falling back hill, maybe this is going to be a Mega Vitamin on your shield, but just landed and got that grab. So that was beautiful stuff. Mabel evening up that stock count, so how are they going to be able to find this damage?
The fact that Cobra is retreating and consistently using Fireball to sort of do the work for him, and finishing it off with Flood 2, this retreating pattern from Cobra actually making this stage work out phenomenally.
So that's something I really wanted to mention going into this, before Cobra ended up picking Pyra the first game. Flood is going to be a menace, especially with the range that Dr. Mario has to use down B to be able to recover. That is just in the sweet spot of Flood to be able to push you out into the far lands of the blast zone. So it's just something that you have to keep in mind. And as a result, just the pressure of Flood alone is going to mean that you're going to have to recover low a lot more.
At the very least, Mabel and I guess Cobra do have the option to be able to wall jump due to the walls of Yoshi's story. So there's a little bit of potential for mix-up, but you're certainly right. Playing offstage just a little bit deeper than where you have that as an option is going to potentially prove fatal, especially as Mabel finds themselves at 122 on the last stock, struggling to end down Cobra's second.
So Mabel just pressing a lot of back heels. Cobra is so patient at the ledge, but that cross-up up smash is going to be able to do it. I think that's a pretty cute way of fighting that stock. I really like that option. But now, how is Mabel going to be able to get their way back onto the stage? Yup.
Oh, look at that. Delay with the tornado instead of relying on it to recover. Good position to find themselves in, but that's max rage Doc.
Yeah, for sure. Mabel no longer has really that luxury of being able to use, down B in mid-range, because that's going to be a free stock with Flood each time. Now, once again, setting up this edge guard. Is Cobra going to be able to find this 2-frame? This time doesn't opt for it. Just tries to maybe find this this hit in the corner, but Mabel fights his way back on. Oh, no. Oh, buddy.
Yeah, they're just trying to find that mark that leads into big damage here. How's that for it? Down, they're going to be killing all the way out. All right, and a very convincing game from Cobra.
Wow, so the second set, after the second game, we finally are going to a game count that is not 2-0 or 3-0 for one of the players. Cobra, congratulations. Top 128 is going to be the first one.
We got some life on the board.
Yeah. And Cobra, I feel like did a really good job. Really exploiting a lot of Doc's weaknesses. Number one, the biggest thing, of course, how do you get back onto stage as Doc? Number two, if you start getting your jumps called out as Doc, that is a huge sign. You need to start mixing up your movement a little bit more. A lot of Doc's neutral is reliant Full Hop Mega Vitamin. Full Hop Mega Vitamin, you put out a hitbox out there, you can start probing the opponent, you can start seeing what are they going to do out of shield, how do they start responding to the projectile. Mabel was struggling to find that as Cobra started going for a lot of air to airs, throwing out a lot of up airs, throwing out a lot of down airs in full hop range. So Mabel needs to be a little bit more cognizant of that.
I think bringing us to Smashville on Game 3 is a really good way of mitigating a lot of that pressure from the runaway game and the projectile game, because there's just naturally not as much space here. Now, that can be proving disastrous for them potentially if we find ourselves off stage, as once again, like Cobra can bring Flood out, and that makes things really difficult for me to deal with, even at middling percentages. But the fact that there's just less space to box out for is going to pay dividends for Dr. Mario's buttons.
We were able to find that back here. Now Mabel struggling to find the way to get back onto the stage, and again, just not finding a lot of these conversions this game. Cobra is already looking so confident.
I think it's also the fact that Mario himself is very strong when it comes to boxing out in smaller spaces, and Cobra very deliberately keeping this battle around the platform so they can keep it ambiguous on if he's going to control base plat or go on the hunt. And very quickly taking first stock from Mabel because of it, sticking to that game plan. And that's another thing, having that free space to be able to up B out of disadvantage is going to be pivotal, more for Cobra, I would feel, than Mabel.
Yeah, that is true. It honestly kind of just goes both ways. These are both characters that really do take advantage of that up B out of shield. You have that element of ambiguity. Am I going to go onto the platform? Am I going to drop down immediately? Mabel has not been able to score a big, clean hit. Everything has just been more so a trade or something that really wouldn't follow up into anything else. That grab was so huge for Mabel, but these timing mix-ups from Cobra at the ledge are so good. They're just waiting for Mabel's next option and delaying a lot of their timing.
Dar, I'm really glad that you brought up the mix-ups on the timing of things, because I feel like that's the most important to Cobra throwing off Mabel's rhythm. We're seeing Mabel go for a lot of typical reads out of situations, and none of it's working because Cobra's just not feeding into that pressure that Dr. Mario has the potential to put on you.
Mabel, again, just not able to find any of these hits on Mario at the ledge. That's tough. If you're not finding those kills at the ledge, you're really going to be struggling to take stocks out sometimes, but great scoop with the down B. Mabel finally taking that first stock, and Cobra's advantage is just so menacing.
I mean, go for an inch, take a mile. With Mario, making that one hit count is the entire cornerstone of why this character is dangerous. And Doc doesn't really have that as a calling card as a character. It's big buttons and a couple of hit confirms here and there. But beyond that, it's really just how confident Mabel is with their buttons and how confident they are with this character.
Mabel trying to find that dash back F smash, but a little bit too slow. Cobra was able to land and shield successfully with just frames saving them. Mabel playing really, really patiently right now with a lot of dash shields, finally catching that overcommitment. Are they going to be able to find this kill at the ledge? Yes, they are! That's Mabel
the
upset, baby.
overextension from Cobra! Cobra trying to put up the back air, puts him right in death's door. And just like that, Mabel taking a lead.
That's Dr. Mario up smash, but that's also the Mabel and the way that they're so confident with going for that up smash and down throw down B. Is that going to be able to kill? Yes, it is.
A hell of a mix-up. Gives us the 2-1 game count right now with Mabel in favor.
This game is funny. Mabel was like really pacing it so slowly. Cobra was able to get so many big hits, really just carry Mabel from like 50 to 70, really consistently, a lot of good advantage. But then all Mabel needed was 2 strong commitments. Was able to catch Cobra landing a little bit too impatiently with back hill, not respecting Dr. Mario up smash like that. And then down throw down B. It'll kill you, especially on Smashville. You'll just explode.
Yeah, it's just like we were talking about earlier. It's like the big buttons. Doc big buttons. It doesn't matter who you are, who you're playing. You have to worry about them. And if you're not aware of all of the tricks of the trade that Dr. Mario is bringing to the table, you're going to learn the hard way. That's just the reality of the situation. Like Mario dying at 70 off of nothing more than like 3 hits, that's dangerous. That's dangerous unfamiliarity with the character that you're facing. And Mabel looking really confident, regardless of how dire the situation is giving me a lot of hope for them as we move into Game 4, which is looking like it's going to be taking place on Pokemon Stadium 2.
Also, guys, as a general rule of thumb, whenever you're fighting a Mario character, Dr. Mario, Mario, Peach, Luigi, you gotta keep in mind that the up smashes almost all have invulnerability on them. With Doc specifically, I believe it's from 9 to 13. So if you see them pressing up smash, unless you have like a projectile or like a massive disjoint, just let them do their thing. Just let them press it because they know what they're looking for. They're waiting for me to press on them. So just something that y'all need to respect. Cobra that time actually recognizing from the down throw that Mabel is not plus enough to be able to connect down B. So that was a really good aggressive option to be able to land.
Yeah, I think as this set is going to go on, like Mabel has to be careful about going for those little options because Doc has a lot of those once a set kind of things that aren't quite true, but if you're not prepared, you will explode. And as this is a best of 5, there's just a lot more time for Cobra to become familiar with Mabel's tricks.
Ooh, Mabel going to be immediately neutral, get up and going back onto the stage. This is completely even Stevens right now. Cobra's up smash is not going to be able to kill quite yet. Able to catch Mabel's neutral air dodge to get back onto the stage. And that back throw should be able to clean it up. Beautiful stuff with Cobra.
And Cobra making sure to keep the momentum flying ahead on this one. Immediately pressing forward onto Mabel as they come off the Angel Plat. Trying to press onward with Flood. And even pressing further out to the ledge. I think this is just great presence of mind that if Mabel doesn't have any time to prepare themselves, they could take advantage of the fact that character can't play off stage, but Mabel willing to play in the corner is going to tie up the game.
Mabel trying to maybe catch a jump off of the platform there. Mabel, of course, as Dr. Mario, you can't really get too much off of an up air like that as Mario can, but the attempt is still appreciated. Nonetheless, able to get a couple of back hills though, but still not plus enough to be able to find that grab.
So even approaching with the RAR Nair, both of these players getting so scrappy, just trying to find something meaningful.
Mabel's just playing so patiently right now. They're getting really mixy with the movement, but as soon as, again, like you touch Mario or Dr. Mario shield, that's always going to be an up B, just imminent. So Mabel, they need to be a little bit more careful of that. Love the coverage.
Oh! And that was one too many times pressing forward for Cobra. Mabel finding the mark once again with up smash. And this is Cobra potentially on winner's side life right now.
Yeah, Mabel is just finding a lot of these kills in a way that they sort of struggled in Game 2. I feel like they've just been making a lot of adaptations to these spacing. Cobra has got to respect some of these buttons for Mabel a little bit more. But that's going to be the down throw. Tries to wait out the option, has the right idea, but doesn't actually end up committing to it.
We saw that down B after that throw too. Mabel trying to throw in some mix here. Blasting themselves away, but taking Cobra with them. Mabel going to find the suicide kill that gives them a 3-1 victory over Cobra.
Yeah, at first I thought, like, you know, Cobra was going to be making... they started to really press onto Mabel, and just, especially the advantage state was so strong. But I feel like towards the end, there was an element of impatience on Cobra's behalf. They were starting to not really respect a lot of these buttons from Dr. Mario, but also failure to recognize some of the situations that Dr. Mario puts you in. When you get down throw by Dr. Mario, for instance, I don't believe down throw down B should ever really be a thing. It might be a bit of a DI check, but it's also an option check. So you got to know when to jump away. You got to know when to air dodge, when to actually press a button. And I feel like Mabel has just been doing a really good job of mixing out of down throw and just utilizing and positioning themselves with up smash in a way that Cobra wasn't respecting it, kept on dashing into it, kept on trying to challenge it. And some really pivotal and important stocks were lost to it as a result.